Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this Scottish Learning Festival professional learning session, all about stepping stones and reimagining professional growth with and for early career teachers. I'll do some introductions in a second or two, but at this point in proceedings, I'm going to move briefly on to some housekeeping aspects. Now, I believe your cameras are already turned off anyhow, so please don't be concerned about that. Could you have a read through? We would be delighted if you would introduce yourself in the chat. My colleague Mandy Toogood, who I'll introduce properly in a moment or two, will be keeping an eye on the chat, and we'd love to know your role and where you're placed in Scottish education, or if you're placed in Scottish education. And we'll be sharing some links, not lots and lots of links, but some links in the chat later on, just as we go through the presentation. So keep an eye on it for that too. And also do ask any questions or make comments. And as we're presenting, Mandy will go through those and we'll take pauses during the presentation to answer those questions and to allow you to ask any supplementary questions that you may have. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to cast your eye over that short list there. Welcome. My name is Jean Laird and I am the Stepping Stones Development Officer, and I work for GTC Scotland. In this session alongside me is one of our partners from the programme, and that's Mandy Toogood, who works for Education Scotland, and she also supports with the programme and leads on the coaching element, which you'll hear more about in a moment or two. It's great to have you here, and we're delighted you're spending this time with us this afternoon. So, Stepping Stones, what is it and who is it for? Stepping Stones is a professional learning programme for early career teachers. It's specifically for early career teachers who are in their first 4 years post-probation. So the teachers engaging in this programme, and if you're an early career teacher yourself and you're in this session, that's great. And you know, we'll explain what it's all about. But if you're just interested in this session is for you too. So early career teachers in their first 4 years post-probation can engage in the programme, and they'll be fully registered teachers. And that spans quite a few years in a teacher's career, so that has implications for the programme, as you can imagine, and we'll talk more about that as we go. So for some time in Scottish education there has been both an ambition and a desire for there to be a continuum of high quality professional learning that goes right from initial teacher education through the probationary period, through early career and on and beyond into a teacher's career. It's not so long ago since we would be speaking a bit more perhaps about the slump that can occur at the end of the induction time for probationer teachers. For teachers at that stage have come through a highly supported teacher induction scheme. They've had a dedicated supporter who has mentored and coached them through that very intense scheme. And unsurprisingly, on leaving that structure behind, sometimes there is a slump or a blip as far as professional growth and professional learning goes. So Stepping Stones is a professional learning programme that hopes to provide that support, and there are others out there now, hopes to provide that support at that point through engaging in professional learning activities which are dialogical. They support and encourage critical reflection, they provoke thinking, and importantly they have a positive impact on the early career teachers' practice and so on the children and young people that they're working with. Now, you'll have noticed that there are two badges on this slide. Stepping Stones is reasonably unique in that it is designed and delivered in partnership between two organisations, and those organisations are Education Scotland and GTC Scotland. My role sits with GTC Scotland, and Mandy, who you'll most likely hear from when some of the questions come to the fore, is based with Education Scotland, and there are various representatives from both organisations that contribute to the development and delivery of the programme. And that means that we have a strong programme, the strengths of those two organisations coming together to deliver something to meet the needs of our early career teachers across Scotland. So that partnership is unique, and it's a great strength of the programme. Now, I spoke just a few moments ago about the desire for a continuum of professional learning spanning the early phase of a teacher's career, and the desire that there were programmes in place like Stepping Stones to support that to happen. Something good came out of the pandemic, and COVID is most definitely the elephant in the room at this point. Stepping Stones wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for that interruption to early career teachers' initial teacher education experience. Their probationer stage was also impacted on, and as you know, if you're an early career teacher joining us today, you most likely had reduced placements and reduced face-to-face teaching time too, and that all has an impact. So Stepping Stones was put in place when Scottish Government funding was directed towards producing a programme and putting a programme out there that would support early career teachers in their time of need. Now, despite that, our Stepping Stones programme most definitely is not a deficit model. It's not built on the idea that it plugs a gap and fills in all the areas that are missing for our early career teachers. We understand that our early career teachers across Scotland are resilient and have many strengths. And there is also evidence that during the pandemic, our early career teachers often took the lead with certain aspects of learning and development and supported and contributed to the learning of their colleagues also. So Stepping Stones takes account of that, and it most definitely is not a deficit model. It looks to support, but it also builds on the many areas of strength that our early career teachers have already. Later on in the presentation, I'll speak a bit about co-construction, and that's very much entwined with this idea of our resilient and able early career teachers that are out there making a difference for the children and young people across Scotland. Now, we shouldn't refer to professional learning at any point without referring to our professional standards. Our professional standards belong to us as a profession, they belong to us as teachers, and the standard for full registration encompasses what it means to be a teacher in Scotland today. Our programme, the Stepping Stones programme, incorporates and embeds our professional standards at every stage, from design right through to delivery and in the evaluation of the programme. This focus supports early career teachers not only to notice how they bring this professional standards alive in their practice in the classroom every day, but also how they can further enhance their practice and how it can contribute to their professional growth. I'm going to talk now a little bit about the evolution of the programme, because the programme only began last year. When it was instigated, it was reactive. It was there to meet the needs in an ever-changing educational context, to meet the needs of early career teachers at that point, and it absolutely did what it was designed to do. At that point, it was mainly workshops, and we did have opportunities for people to network and to catch up also. But as the year went on, the programme evolved as we involved our early career teachers continuously in the design and development of the programme. It evolved and changed and developed into what it is today. However, it's now, I would argue, a much more proactive programme, and it's looking towards being a sustainable offer that's there in the longer term. So, our model of professional learning. I would say it's important to refer to this at this point because I'm about to give you a little bit more detail of what the programme encompasses. Our model of professional learning really does focus on the teacher as a learner, and our Stepping Stones programme has that also at its centre. Our programme used the model of professional learning as a focus, as a benchmark for design, and it also uses the model of professional learning as a benchmark for the evaluations that take place against the programme. It does everything that you can see in this list here. So if you cast your eye down this list, you will see that our programme aims to be informed and supported by the professional standards, as I've said already, and also absolutely it's underpinned by developing the skills of inquiry and criticality. And importantly, children and young people are in there too, along with the teacher as a learner at the centre. I thought it was good at this point to give you a little bit of a flavour of how our Stepping Stones participants feel about the programme and felt about the programme last session. Our aim absolutely was to increase the confidence of early career teachers, and through increasing their confidence and their knowledge, understanding and skills, then they are happier, more confident individuals who can reflect on their professional growth and see the difference that they're making. And I've just popped in a couple of comments from two of our participants from last session. So you can see this nice comment here. Hopefully you've had a moment or two to cast your eyes across that. And this is the second, and you can see that that person felt an awful lot more confident after engaging with our programme. At this point, I'm going to take a slight pause, catch my breath and see if there are any questions. Mandy, are there any questions in the chat so far?
No, not yet.
Nothing yet. Okay, okay. And I'll give you the opportunity also, if anyone would like to ask a question at this point, please go ahead. We'll just pause for a second, give you some thinking time. Okay, it looks like everyone's been stunned into silence so far, so we'll move on to the next slide. I'm going to talk now in a little bit more detail about the programme and about the different elements. This session we have made a huge effort in pulling together our collective resources from both organisations to ensure that there is a diverse and varied offer. We realised that a teacher could potentially be with us for 4 years. And so what we hope is that they can choose and select from the different opportunities that are on offer and select in this way to marry the offers up with their areas for development, and so shape this engagement into their own professional learning pathway. Stepping Stones is absolutely not a programme that we hope people will go through piece by piece and come out the other side. It's a programme that we hope early career teachers will engage with and select discerningly from, and be able to align it with their development needs. Okay, so workshops. Our workshops are scheduled once a month. They're optional. The themes for the workshop were collated through surveying, speaking to, having focus groups with early career teachers from across Scotland. So they chose the themes of the workshops. They're interactive sessions. They only last for around an hour, because we feel an hour at the end of a very busy working day in class is enough time to have that engaging experience and to have something to take away and critically reflect on against your practice and against our professional standards. They all offer opportunities for dialogue and questions. That's important. We don't see participants in our workshop as empty cups sitting there to be filled with information. To give you a flavour of what early career teachers across Scotland requested, I'm going to show you now the timetable roughly of our workshops for the year. You can see there that there's quite a variety of themes that were requested, and also these were informed from other stakeholders engaging with us from across the system, and obviously from policy and research also. Hopefully Mandy's been able to pop some links in the chat this afternoon, and if there are any early career teachers here this afternoon and they're interested in anything that might appear at this section as we go through what the content of the Stepping Stones programme is, then please click on those links and you'll have access to register for anything that you're interested in. Moving on from the workshops and thinking about the reading groups. Our reading groups this year are new. They begin next week. So I can't tell you how they've been received yet, but I can tell you that they're proving incredibly popular, and the sign-up rate is fast and furious for our reading groups. The reason for that is that our themes are differentiation, learner engagement, and inclusion. Those themes were chosen by early career teachers, and when they submitted their responses to a poll, the top 10 emerged, and at number 1 was differentiation. So that's why we've chosen to focus our reading groups on these themes, because we know that this is what early career teachers across Scotland say that they require more support with. We felt it was important that when this was number 1 in our poll, that actually we provided something that was more than a workshop, more than a one-off session, which it was great to engage in. There was time to reflect on, but essentially the session was delivered, and behind that person, we felt it was important that our reading group took this focus and offered the opportunity to engage in rich conversations in that collaborative and supportive environment that the reading group could provide. We've also invited experienced practitioners who have a specific skill in these areas to come along and facilitate the conversation with us. You can see there that really this sums up what we hope to achieve with the reading group. Our aim is to have all of the text made freely available through the My GTCS account via the EBSCO section, because in that way it's an equitable offer. Nobody needs to be buying or purchasing any books or texts. They'll be there for all teachers, but for the early career teachers who are on the programme. Another offer, and you can see here where we're linking in with the model for professional learning, excuse me, the national model for professional learning. our other offer is taking a closer look through engaging in supported inquiries. A colleague of mine at GTC Scotland, Gillian Robinson, will be taking the lead on this, but she'll be supported by us to deliver these sessions. These supported inquiries provide the opportunity to take a closer look at and learn from your own professional practice as an early career teacher. Early career teachers are guided through this process, and they'll be part of a collaborative supportive group. They have been split into thematic areas so that our early career teachers can choose from an area, and they can choose an area that is suitable for them. The areas we've chosen to focus on this session are literacy, numeracy, and learning in and through interactions. Those three areas are all suitably broad, that actually we believe that anyone engaging in that, any early career teacher engaging in one of those areas, should be able to fit their inquiry into a specific part of literacy or numeracy or learning in and through interactions that actually fits their development needs and also contributes to and fits with the needs of the children and young people that they're working with. This just sums up what our inquiry hopes to achieve, and you'll see that again those words support and collaboration are at the top there. That's an essential part of Stepping Stones. Everything we do, we aim to support and to collaborate. We're most definitely stronger and more effective as teachers when we collaborate and work together, and Stepping Stones aims to provide that supportive, collaborative experience through both the reading group and the supported inquiry. Now, a word to networking. Networking is obviously facilitated through the programme itself. However, it really is all about relationships and connection, and when we spoke with and worked with our early career teachers, they felt that they would like to perhaps engage in more regional networking. So that's an aspect of the programme that's under development at the moment. It is absolutely very much about relationships and connection. Despite delivering this programme in an online environment, relationships and connection are key. Now, we're at a very early stage, having only been in existence for one academic year so far and beginning another, but I would say this is something that we strive to establish within every session and within every engagement that we have with our participants. Every conversation matters, virtual or face-to-face, and unfortunately at the moment they are all virtual. However, the virtual environment for relationships and connections has its positives too, and we have been really fortunate that in most sessions we have an absolutely amazing spread of early career teachers from right across Scotland. And it really is delightful to see all the place names and schools and teachers appearing. And I'm sure that over the course of this year, not only will we get to know them, they'll get to know each other too. Now, I'm coming on to Mandy's area where she takes the lead, and I'm going to briefly refer to our coaching and reflective sessions that are on offer. This is especially valuable. The opportunity was put in place last session, and the people who did participate in this found it very valuable for their growth as a professional. To be paired up one-to-one with a coach is absolutely the best experience according to those who participated. After coming from your teacher induction year where you have that dedicated supporter, then to move away from that can be quite a difficult experience and quite a challenge. So the opportunity to engage in coaching conversations with a dedicated coach, and the coaches were recruited from Education Scotland's Middle Leaders programme, and our participants said that what was good about the coaching was that they were able to engage in conversations in a solution-focused manner with individuals who were outside of their unique school context, and they found that particularly useful and supportive. So in addition to the coaching, there are also reflective sessions on offer once a term. These reflective sessions hope to support our participants to reflect on their engagement with our professional learning experiences over the course of the term, relate these to our professional standards, and adopt and adapt new things into their practice. So those reflective sessions are something else that's in existence too. Now, I've gone through an awful lot there. I've probably not given each particular aspect justice, but you can see that Stepping Stones certainly has a wide and varied offer. And Mandy is here if you'd like to know more about the coaching or the reflective sessions and anything else. We would be delighted to answer questions about it. So we'll pause at this point again, and I'll check in with Mandy and see if there are any questions.
There's no questions. There's a couple of offers of people perhaps to run workshops in the future. Can I just add one quick thing about the coaching?
Absolutely, Mandy, go for it.
just to explain that the setup for the coaching is part of our other professional learning opportunities in Education Scotland. So the coaches themselves are coming from a pool of volunteers, or will be coming from a pool of volunteers across all the other professional learning programmes, which gives an additional benefit, I think, to the recipients of the coaching, the Stepping Stones recipients, because they're actually making contact with people from lots of different parts of the system at different levels and doing different work. So the last cohort we had were the middle leaders leading change. They were the people that were coaching the Stepping Stones participants, which added something, I think, to that coaching experience.
Thanks, Mandy, that's super. If you're sure there are no questions, then I will move on and I'll talk now a little bit more about our participants' involvement in the shaping of Stepping Stones. So something that is reasonably unique, I won't claim that it's unique, is that we aim with our Stepping Stones programme to ensure that our participants are fully engaged and involved and have the opportunity, if they wish, to co-construct the programme with us. Now, in the developmental early stages of Stepping Stones becoming a thing, if you like, there was consultation, there were focus groups, there was feedback. And if we think about participation and we think about co-construction, that was good, that was okay. But what's even better than that is when we actually engage our participants as partners, collaborating in the design and delivery of the programme and actually shaping it as it moves forward. We were very fortunate that we actually managed in a few instances to get to that stage last session. We're extremely fortunate that we actually had participants in the programme who had an area of strength, as I referred to earlier in this presentation, and used that area of strength to contribute to the learning of others. So they were actually involved in the delivery of some of our sessions where it was appropriate, and in facilitating dialogue and contributing to resources that were developed too. So we're very proud of that. However, we were proud of that, but we want it to be even better. So we've built on that, and this year we have begun to recruit Stepping Stones leaders. Now, our Stepping Stones leaders are making the commitment that they want to collaborate with us, they want to be partners, and they have a commitment to join us in a number of structured sessions that looks at how the programme will evolve, and they will contribute to shaping the programme. They also have an opportunity to contribute to and be part of the delivery of certain aspects of the programme if they wish. That part is optional. They are committing to supporting us with the planning and the constructing of the programme, but if they wish, they can take that a step further and they can actually contribute to aspects of delivering the programme elements where it is appropriate and where they feel comfortable and confident to do so. So this is how we're moving that forward through recruiting our Stepping Stones leaders. Now, there is a requirement on our Stepping Stones leaders that they have committed a significant aspect of a significant portion rather of their professional learning for the session to Stepping Stones. And in that way, we can be sure that this is a real high quality collaborative effort that we're going to go on together. Now, we're just 1 minute past 1 o'clock. I am hoping that we may have Lizzie Hay with us at this point. I don't know if you're with us, Lizzie.
Hi, Jean, just in time, I've just joined.
That's wonderful. It's all right. You know, Lizzie, that I could have gone on and spoken a little more. I am absolutely delighted to see you. Now, Lizzie is a participant from last session. She is a maths teacher at Kirkcaldy High School in Fife. And Lizzie was one of those wonderful participants last session who actually contributed to the programme. And this session, we have been delighted to find out that Lizzie has actually applied to be a Stepping Stones leader. So Lizzie, I know you're hot from the classroom, you've run along the corridor, and I want to say a massive thank you to you for joining us. I'll let you catch your breath and then I'll go through 1 or 2 questions, because what we want to do at this point is to find out what your experience was of the programme and so on. So I'm going to ask you 1 or 2 questions in a moment, and I think it's important, if there are early career teachers in the session at the moment, that they will see that this is the relevant and meaningful or most relevant and meaningful part of the session, where an early career teacher is actually speaking about the programme from their actual experience. So, Lizzie, the first question that I wanted to ask you was, what attracted you initially to the Stepping Stones programme?
So probably the main thing that attracted me was the fact that my probation year had been so structured with professional learning within the local authority and within the school. And I felt like at the summer it was suddenly kind of all that structure, that mentoring was kind of going, and then you're kind of thrust out into the world on your own. But then Stepping Stones came along, and it was that little bit of structure where you kind of had professional learning sessions you could attend and choose to attend, and there was a little bit of kind of coaching opportunities involved as well. So it was really that structure and being able to network with people who were in a similar phase to me, so keep up that connection with other people in a similar situation to I am.
Thanks, Lizzie. I think that is something, especially when you have come from a larger local authority in your induction year, you have that opportunity to network with lots of other teachers in this protected time and space, and actually Stepping Stones does afford that opportunity to a degree, although the time is not as protected, but certainly affords that opportunity. What did you find was most useful for you? Which aspect that you engaged in was most useful for your own practice?
So when I was thinking about this question, I came up with 3 things. I couldn't narrow them down because they were all different and most relevant in a different way. So one of them was the kind of opportunity to attend the professional learning sessions and then reflection sessions afterwards to be able to discuss what you'd heard and share ideas, have that network with others. One of the sessions that was most prominent for me was on assessment, because that's something I felt I really needed to work on. I was doing formative assessment on a daily basis in the classroom, but I felt like I needed something a little bit more formal for my tracking purposes throughout the year. And it was that reflection session where I got the idea to start doing regular kind of low stakes quizzes, which I could use quickly at the start of a period and then go over the next time I saw them, or we'd peer mark in class, or we self assess. So that's something I'm using a lot this year. So that session was really useful. Another thing was I was really lucky to be asked to present at one of the sessions, which was on recruitment. So share how I'd got on with my job application and interview the previous year, and my kind of suggestions for those who were applying last year. I found that really useful. I made a video. It helped me reflect on my own experience for the future and share with others. I also had the opportunity to facilitate one of the discussion groups through that. So that was really useful to give me the opportunity to lead that kind of session and take my professional learning to the next step. And finally, the third thing was the coaching opportunity. This came like quite late on in the year, but I found it really useful to be able to connect with someone who was later on in their career. And it was someone who was at a different school and a different local authority, different setting actually. So we met online, but it was a time when I could talk about what I was doing, where I needed to go, and anything that I needed support with. So like my probation mentor. So that was really useful just to continue that and continue my development. I think that's all three now.
Now, I know you were a bit cheeky there. I only asked for one and I got three, but I'm delighted. That just shows that the package that we offered was well received, so I'll let you off. Now, I need to ask another question, and I'm going to say, I was going to ask you about how the experience of contributing to the programme benefited you, but I think you've covered that. So I'm going to ask you about Stepping Stones leaders. How are you feeling about being a Stepping Stones leader this year? I know that there's a small commitment to it, but that you might take the leap again and contribute to the programme in some way. So how are you feeling about that?
I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to then be able to take the next step in the programme and be involved. Jane's been really good at asking for feedback throughout of last year, so I've already managed to give quite a bit on that, and it's nice to just kind of take that kind of go into that official role of being able to develop it further for early phase teachers that are coming along. So looking forward to taking that next step.
I'm glad you are. And finally, would you give any particular advice to any early career teachers who might be listening in or joining us in the session or watching this recording later?
I think my main advice would be, there's a lot going on in the programme. So they've got reading groups, they've got professional learning sessions, inquiry, coaching, lots of things going on this year. Don't feel like you have to do everything. It's about what you need just now. So I found that some of the professional learning sessions last year, I'd done something similar in the previous couple of years. So I didn't feel I necessarily needed to sign up to them. So really be quite selective, look at what your targets are for this year and think what's going to benefit me most, because you don't want to then be trying to sign up to too much and fit it in alongside a very busy teaching job. So do be selective, think about what is going to benefit you most and attend those ones, and that's how you'll get the most out of it.
Absolutely, Lizzie. I think it's crucial that all teachers, not just early career teachers, are discerning, and that they really consider and reflect on what their development needs are and what the needs of the young people they're working with are too, and selecting in that way really is the best thing to do. So thank you very much. I'd appreciate, if you don't mind, if you would just stay on and stay with us to the end of the session. We only have another 5 minutes left in the session, but just in case anyone has any questions that are better answered by yourself rather than by myself or by Mandy. So at this point, I'm going to pause again. And so you've now got an extra opportunity to ask Lizzie questions if you wish to, or to ask myself or Mandy.
There's 2 questions in the chat pane, which one is there a maximum number of people you can take on each academic year? And the other is, when do you apply if you would like to join the programme after your probationary year? How far in advance?
Absolutely. These are super questions. Now, there is no maximum for the programme itself. When you sign up for the programme, you're signing up to say you want to engage with stepping stones. For the workshops, at times there is a cap on that, just because of the number of people that can be facilitated through Teams, but it's usually a very, very large number. We're talking about in the region of 500 people in a session. For the supported inquiry, there is a cap on that, simply because that's something more committed, and people need more support through the supported inquiry. So there is a slightly reduced cap on that one. So the answer is that you will get into stepping stones if you want to be part of it, and the capacity is always there to involve you in almost every aspect. But if you're swift off the mark, if there's a particular thing that you're interested in, you will get a place. So that was a long answer to a short question. Basically, we've got lots and lots of spaces because we know there are thousands of teachers within that bracket from year 1 to 4 in their early career. Now, the next question was, how quickly should you apply for it after your probation? Well, the good news is that at the end of your induction year, you will be invited to attend something called the National Probationer Celebration, or it might be called the National Probationer Event. And you'll be invited to that event by GTC Scotland as we celebrate you becoming a fully registered teacher. And every probationer teacher in Scotland is invited to that event. And this year at that event, we offered the opportunity for people to register an interest in stepping stones. And I can see that that opportunity will continue on into this year, hopefully too. So if you're at the National Probationer event and you're interested in early career professional learning, there will be an opportunity to engage and to be ready for it there. Hopefully that answers the question.
There's one more question, Jean.
Good.
Here.
I like this. We've got 2 minutes. I'm enjoying this.
So will a request for leaders be sent to everyone who's signed up for the Stepping Stones programme, or to local authorities to promote? Apologies if I've missed this.
No, absolutely. The request for leaders will be sent to everyone who signs up for the programme. It is also contained with the information that goes out about stepping stones to through the Education Scotland newsletter and through the GTC Scotland newsletter. The documents that contain the information about stepping stones are often sways, and the links will be within those sways. So that link has already actually gone out, I believe, to PLL Leeds earlier in the year, but it will be going out again. And we foresee that we will have stepping stones leaders signing up throughout the year, but perhaps that will close down around around the turn of the year, around January, February, because we'll then be looking to consolidate the group. But it will open up again, obviously, next session. Hopefully that's answered that question. I believe if you would like, In fact, we've only got 1 minute left. I won't put the link in the chat because I won't make it, and I know we will be cut off at 1:15. So on that note, the link will be coming to local authorities is the short answer. And I want to say a big thank you. If anyone has any supplementary questions, my email is there, but even better, I'll be on the GTC Scotland stand in the exhibition hall this afternoon. I'll be going there at 2 o'clock, and I know that there will be representatives from Education Scotland on their stand too, but I'll be there from 2 till 4 today if anyone wishes to ask me anything else about stepping stones, or you want to point anyone in my direction. So I'd be delighted to talk to you there. And thanks very much for your time.